Welcome to All Steelers Talk, your home for everything Pittsburgh Steelers, presented by allsteelers.com.
What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk live from St. Vincent College in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. I'm your host, Nostradamus. I'm joined every Tuesday and Thursday, and it's so nice to say that and not have to explain that it's a Wednesday, by my main man, Donnie Droon. Again, we are live out in the parking lot at St. Vincent College, so chances are somebody's going to walk by or it's going to rain on me. But it's been a fun week. Donnie, I know that all the heat and humidity is nothing compared to northern Phoenix, Arizona. I'm sure you're spending your great day in the AC, but how you feel, my friend?
Feeling great. No, did you know that we are no longer without a weekend of football until the third weekend of February, college or pro?
And we are no longer away from football?
Yeah. There's a football game every single weekend through the Super Bowl, basically.
That's beautiful.
Bro,
that is absolutely
so
beautiful.
Great to say.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what we're looking for. The Pittsburgh Steelers kick off Saturday night against the Seahawks. I'm excited. I was talking to an intern today, actually, and they were like, I don't know, like I might go to the game, but I don't have to go, so I might not. And I was like, you should 100%. Like, the return of football is so special that you can't miss it. You know, like if you're allowed to be involved in it, you can't miss it, even if it's a preseason game. And especially with this team, because the preseason this year is more important than probably any preseason we've ever witnessed in our lifetime. Mm-hmm. That's how important these three games are for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm pretty hyped up.
No, for sure. And you take into account 7 million people watched the Jaguars play the Raiders last week.
Did you watch the Jaguars play the Raiders?
I sure did watch the Jaguars play the Raiders.
I did not. I won't lie. I didn't watch a single snap. I was going to, and then the rain delay started, and I got into something. I started doing something, and then it started, and then I didn't realize that it started. And then by the time I did realize it was happening, it was like 9:30, so it was like the end of the first quarter. And at that point, I was like, I won't even know anybody who's on the field. So I'm good,
I have some degenerate friends that bet on the preseason game, so I kind of just tagged along for the fun.
Yeah, no, I'm going to hold off my bets until Saturday morning. I got good ones, though. I've been thinking about them a lot. I definitely have some good ones. But that's good. I'm glad. I'm very excited for football to be back. I'm like very, very, because I think we've hit that point in training camp where we need football. The Steelers need football. We're done talking about the quarterback competition and the running backs and the wide receivers and so on and so forth. We've seen what we could see. At this point, we need football to return so that we could see who's real and who's – it's the same with 4 or 5 positions, but there are guys that aren't going to show up in the preseason, and that's what we need.
No, absolutely. And I think those guys are tired of hitting each other too. I think at this point in training camp, everybody's kind of worn out. Everybody's kind of pissed off. They just want to hit a jersey that's not black or yellow. So Saturday will be the first opportunity to do so against the Seahawks. Like you said, is that a home game?
It is a home game, Saturday night.
Okay, home game for the Steelers Saturday night. Second day of training camp, at least this week, as we kind of gear into a game week for Mike Tomlin company. No, what have you seen so far through the first couple of days of this week in camp?
To be honest with you, I've seen a lot of the same in both good and bad. So today it was weird because it rained today, so they moved practice up, and you watched Kenny Pickett work with the twos today, and you thought, okay, well, he's pretty consistent. He broke a run off where I think if it was Mason, it would have been a sack. And if it was real life, it would have been a little bit crazier. But at the same time, I don't think that Kenny would have got hit there. I think the pocket collapsed around him. He made his way backwards to create more space, then made his way forward to escape the pocket. I think it would have been a nice run. You see a lot of those moments from Kenny. He came out in 7 shots, overthrew Gunnar Olszewski in the end zone to start the day. The next play, he came back, threw a touchdown to Jaylen Warren. You're seeing a lot of that. But you're still seeing mistakes. He threw 2 interceptions today, one to James Pierre, one to Chris Steele. that's got to be his 5th or 6th interception in the last 3 weeks here at training camp. And I get it. It's training camp. Ben Roethlisberger threw a lot of interceptions last season, and he's a rookie. I understand. Plus, he's running with the second team. It's just at some point I would like to see a clean practice where I could say, okay, Kenny looked really good and made no mistakes. I don't think we've seen that yet.
Now, let me ask you this. You talk about Kenny not exactly having that kind of day. Have you really seen that kind of day, from either like Trubisky or Rudolph?
No, no, because Mason looks. So here's the thing about Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph looks the most consistent, and there's a lot of people who constantly tell me Mason is better than we expect. Mason is better than we expect. Mason is the most consistent. There's a reason. There is a reason. There's a reason that Mason Rudolph's the most consistent, and it's that he doesn't play team football. He plays best during walkthroughs. He's a walkthrough quarterback. He'd be perfect for the practice squad if he wasn't too good for the practice squad. But once live sessions start, the pads come on, and things start getting chippy, he does not make the same plays. And you saw that. You've seen that over the last couple of days. The pads have come on, and Mason Rudolph's play has digressed. And that's because he's in more situational football, and he doesn't respond well in situational football. For Mitchell Trubisky, Mitch is tough because Mitch, 80% of the time, looks like the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He looks like a guy who's going to win games. He looks like a guy who you could put a lot of faith in, and he'll be just fine. That 20%, though, is not a slight drop-off. It is an extreme drop-off. Like terrible reads, terrible throws, terrible decisions. You don't even know what he's doing half the time. There is an 80-20 gap there that is not clean enough for me to feel confident in him. But no, I would say all three of them, none of them have looked really, really solid. I didn't expect any of them to, but I still think that Kenny is in team drills, and Mason's is more like he sticks to one read. He doesn't ever throw the ball deep ever. When he does throw the ball deep, it easily would have been a sack. Those types of things. But if it's between Kenny and Mitch, I would say Mitch is still the cleaner of the two. Kenny just makes a lot of mistakes. He does.
And I think that's kind of something we've harped on, not just through the offseason, but through training camp as well. You really just need clean quarterback play. You don't need anything superhuman. You don't need anything phenomenal, although you would like to get that. You just need them to not turn the ball over and kind of articulate the offense down the field however they need to. So turning the ball over, like you said, that 20% of whatever Trubisky is doing on the field, given flashbacks of whatever Chicago Bears quarterback, whatever Buffalo Bills backup quarterback that we didn't see last year.
Yes, sir.
Not great, not necessarily great. I am so ready to overreact to the only game of football we have seen all three of them play upcoming on Saturday. It's a big week for all three of those guys. And it's also a big week for Jaylen Warren, is what you were telling me before the podcast.
Yeah, Jaylen Warren we've hit the point with Jaylen Warren. Like the quarterback battle, we will know a lot more come Saturday. And I think what we're going to know from the quarterback battle come week 1 of the preseason is Mason Rudolph is eliminated from competition because I don't think he's going to play well. And I think you're going to see that. Especially, you have to take everything with a grain of salt. His center is terrible. Nate Gilliam can't even throw a football back. It's crazy that he's still here. On top of that, and like that's aggressive, but it's true. Like there's so many people out there that are like, well, Mason can't hold a snap. Mason can't hold a snap. I watched a football roll to Mason Rudolph today. Kendrick Green never even did that. Like it's just you need better quality backup linemen. The Steelers don't have those. So he's going to be in a really, really awful situation in general come Saturday. But I think that's what we're going to see from him. And I think on top of that, it's going to be a good opportunity for Mitchell Trubisky to lead solid drives, make some plays, especially against, I don't know if you've seen the Seahawks depth chart, but cornerback 1 is the one and only Artie Burns for the Seahawks.
Oh, yeah.
So make some plays against Artie Burns. And then you're going to see Kenny show his athleticism, show his ability to make plays. I think that's what we're going to see out of the quarterbacks. For Jaylen Warren, we have seen all we could see. The dude is always making plays. Always. There was a run today, the run of the day, easy. 25-yarder. He bursts up the middle, cuts back to find open field, cuts back again to avoid a tackle from James Pierre. Then there's 4 guys that get to this dude 25 yards down the field, and he drags all 4 of them for an extra 5 yards. It's been impressive day after impressive day for Jaylen Warren. I still think he's got a huge uphill battle to climb to make the roster, but we've seen all we could see from him. Now it's time to go into a preseason game and say, hey, even behind a bad offensive line with really no help around me, I'm still going to be able to make plays with this offense in an actual game.
No, 100%. And to answer the Hound Gamers comment right here, we actually just talked about Kenny at least a little bit. At least a little bit. We didn't dive super duper deep into him. Noah was just talking about how if it was between him and Trubisky definitely has the upper hand. However, it's 80% good with Trubisky, 20% not great. But that 20% not great, it's just not great. I don't know how else to put that.
He makes bad reads, and that's the thing. Is Trubisky's biggest yikes is the fact that when he's off, he's like really off. Like, it's not like, oh, well, it's one bad play, one good play. It's 6 bad plays or an entire bad day or an entire bad session, and then an entire good day, an entire good session, that kind of thing. When it comes to Kenny, he's more hit or miss. Like, he can bounce back from plays rather quickly, and you see that. I mean, you see that time and time again where Kenny has a bad play, has a bad session, throws an interception, then he comes back and he makes a good play, which is good. That's what you want. And he's a rookie. He's a first-round rookie. And, yeah, his expectations are high, but he's still a rookie. You're going to make mistakes. I would like to see those mistakes against guys like Chris Steele and James Pierre dim down a little bit. I would feel better if those mistakes were against Levi Wallace, Cam Sutton, Minka Fitzpatrick, those guys. That would make me feel a little bit more confident in Kenny Pickett.
Well, let's not forget too, especially if you're a rookie quarterback heading to training camp, now's kind of the time where, you should have a little bit of leeway to figure out what works and what doesn't,
Yeah,
obviously the jump between college and NFL, year after year, we just see like how truly difficult it is, let alone to like emerge as the quarterback one on any starting depth chart. I feel like now should be the time for Kenny to, see what throws he can exactly squeeze in, at this time in his career, what throws he can, what he's comfortable with, what plays he likes, all that good stuff. And you're really not going to have another opportunity to do that aside from training camp and then the preseason games. Because when you get into the regular season, then, if you're taking those calculated risks, then a lot of the times, those might not exactly pay off. So I wouldn't try to read too much into the Kenny Pickett, lack of juice, lack of making mistakes, or the lack of not making mistakes. But at the end of the day, man, it's Pickett, like you said, rookie quarterback. We've seen time and time again so many guys go into situations where they're just not set up to succeed and they just flow out, and there's way too much pressure put on them. Kenny's in a situation in Pittsburgh where he doesn't need to be the guy. Not everybody's looking at Kenny Pickett to turn the Steelers around and make them into this superb franchise. They're already pretty much where the Steelers need to be. Obviously, there's a couple of different chess pieces that need to be moved in order for them to actually win a playoff game, something they haven't done in, I think, the last 5 years. But give Kenny Pickett time, all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. You have to. And that's the thing that's what makes me feel good is he's making mistakes, and you have to touch on those mistakes. People want to know about those mistakes. At the same time, he's making mistakes and bouncing back rather quickly, and that makes you feel confident in his ability moving forward. It's growth. People can say whatever they want. He's a 24-year-old rookie. He's the most pro-ready. And we've made these same arguments, but at the end of the day, he's a rookie. He's never played an NFL game. You have to let him play an NFL game before you say, oh, well, he's throwing 2 interceptions at practice. It's time to throw in the towel and move on with Kenny Pickett. That's exactly how I feel about that one.
No, 100%. And I think more than anything with a rookie quarterback, they're going to make mistakes. I mean, every quarterback known the man has thrown an interception. Every quarterback known the man has made a dumb read. Nobody, including the great Tom Brady, is kind of excluded from that. I'm more interested to see if and when Kenny Pickett does make a mistake, like an interception in the preseason, how he bounces back from that. I'm really intrigued to see kind of the mental gymnastics that might be going on in his head and if he can overcome any of that.
Yeah, I think that the group around him is going to be, I don't want to say less than ideal, but it is. And it's not the wide receivers or the running backs, because I think that all of the running backs have proven worthy. I think all of the wide receivers have proven worthy. The offensive line is dangerously bad. But I still think that he has the ability to make good plays. And come Saturday, I think that's going to be the talk of the town, is how good is Kenny Pickett? How good is Mitchell Trubisky? How good is Mason Rudolph? We're going to see all that. Kenny's going to be working with a major disadvantage. If I had to take a guess, I'd say Kenny starts the third quarter, plays the third quarter, Mason Rudolph finishes the game. That's Kenny's ability to say, okay, well, I'm going to have my backup offensive lineman in. I'm going to be working with backup wide receivers and a backup running back. Let's see what we can do. He's going to have to it's going to be like the longest yard, like when everybody gives up on Adam Sandler and he's got to go make plays by himself and he's getting beat up. That's going to be the Steelers' offensive line. They don't have the backups to feel good. I mean, that's true. That's what we're looking at. The Steelers' backup offensive line, they just don't have depth. They did enough to hopefully fix the offensive line. They now need to add depth. That's a major need. And, outside of like two pieces, if Kendrick Green ends up being the starter because Kevin Dotson went down with an ankle injury yesterday, then Kevin Dotson's a quality backup. John LeGlue is an okay backup. J.C. Hassenauer is an okay backup. Joe Hagg's a pretty quality backup. But outside of those guys, and those guys are still hit or miss, that's why there's not a starter. I mean, you got nobody. You have literally nobody.
Yep, not exactly like the Hound Gamer said. How are you going to bounce back? You can. It's good to see everything going well, and you can smile and you can high five and celebrate touchdowns. But when you get sacked, when you throw that first interception, how are you going to bounce back? And like it's a little different. It's a little bit different too, because Kenny's not like the bona fide starter. You feel like he's legitimately competing for a starting spot, let alone his rookie year, but he's competing nonetheless. So there is a little bit of pressure on Kenny to deliver. So I am interested to see kind of how that pans out in the preseason. No, I do want to bring this up. Because Steeler fans were irate whenever Heinz Field changed their name, brother. You knew from a mile away. The Cincinnati Bengals today, yes, seemingly out of nowhere, changed the name from Paul Brown Stadium to Paycor Stadium. Noah, before you get on your soapbox, can you imagine the Pittsburgh Steelers having Art Rooney Stadium change from the team owner, to Acrisure Stadium? They would have burnt the thing down.
The late team owner. It's not like, I think that's, and I don't know, like I saw a tweet from Adam Schefter that got deleted really fast. That was, it was a quote from the current owner talking about, it was like, my father, who Paul Brown Stadium's named after, this would have been a deal my father would have agreed to. And in my head, I'm thinking, if I'm dead, if you name something after me and I die and you buy out to change the name of what you named after me after I died, you could bet your sweet beep that I would not agree to the deal to switch the name. You want to know why? Because I'm dead and it's named after me. You just totally, in 40 years, nobody's even remember that it was called Paul Brown Stadium. Like it's the league we live in, man. It's all about the money. I want to know what the payout is. I don't know what the payout is, but
doesn't matter.
Let's see. This Raekwon Smith question's a good one.
Yeah, he's looking to get paid, and the Steelers aren't going to pay another off-ball linebacker, hopefully for not a while. Raekwon was a very, very good prospect coming out into the draft. I don't think he's exactly lived up to that billing. I don't think he's been like disappointing, but I think he's kind of been just like more so middle of the road. I mean, if he was a free agent and they like signed him to like a team friendly deal, I wouldn't be upset. I'm just curious to see like what the kind of trade package the Bears are going to be looking to get a high draft pick from.
What would you give up for Raekwon Smith?
Don't do this.
If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, what would you like? Because I think that we've talked about a lot of crazy names. I think
Yeah.
he is the most realistic one. And, like, realistic in the sense that, like, it's not going to happen because you're not going to give up on Devin Bush and Robert Spillane and just say, oh, well, sorry, we went out and got Roquan Smith. Sorry about you. Like, no, you're going to test the season with those two, hope one of them pans out, and then move on next season, which maybe Roquan's available next season. But say there were talks. What are you giving up?
Dude. I couldn't even think of like a somewhat fair trade value for him.
You
At
giving
least
up a
off like
second? Would you give up a second round pick for him?
No.
A third?
Third's probably where I would like try to feel comfortable at, but like that's probably me like low balling what Roquan can do. Because I just kind of like talked trash on him for like 5 minutes.
I think he's a good linebacker. I think he's a good linebacker in a bad team who could be a great linebacker. No more players from Chicago. But
yeah.
I would give up a third for him. I'd give up a third and a fifth, maybe.
Yeah, he just turned 25 this year. Last
Third
season
and Devin Bush.
he had 163 combined tackles, 3 sacks. Like that's not terrible.
No, that's
Like,
pretty good.
Not at all.
Give up a third and Devin Bush. Third and Devin. Okay, look it. And like this isn't like get rid of Devin Bush rant. This is
No, I know.
And this is all hypothetical. Like I just said I don't think like it doesn't make any sense. But if I was in a negotiation room and somebody was like, "Here's Roquan Smith, you could add him to your defense," who I believe would work very well with Robert Spillane and Miles Jack. A third round pick, Devin Bush. The Bears could pay Devin Bush if they believe that he is worth the money and his contract won't be as high as Smith's. And the Steelers now don't have to worry about Devin Bush. They still have a lot of money, and they probably could sign him to a pretty decent extension.
So, like, here's what I'm saying though: if you don't want to pay Devin Bush, and obviously there's a lot more tread on the tires whenever it comes to Roquan than like Devin Bush. But like Roquan's seeking pretty big money. I just don't think, especially after sinking a whole lot of capital into Devin Bush, moving up to number 10 to go get him. I just don't think they would like want to pay a whole lot of money into that position.
I don't think so either. I mean, I think they would pay. I don't think they'd trade, but I would think that they'd pay for it. I think that because like if Devin Bush was good, you would have paid him. If Devin Bush turned into the top 10 pick that he was, you would have paid him.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
That's what I mean. I think that they messed up. I don't think they'd like make a crazy draft trade for the next 10 years. I think that's those ships are sailed. But I think that paying somebody an extension, I don't think would be off the table for them.
Well, he's due $9.7 million in the 5th and final year of his rookie contract.
That's not terrible. What's Bush's? Bush's got to be close to that.
Yeah, I would
6
imagine
maybe.
so.
So that's you're not taking on and like cap number. The salary cap's nothing for the Pittsburgh Steelers for the next 5 years. They can do whatever they want. Whatever. They just bought. We were worried about Deontay Johnson like taking up all this cap space. They just got Deontay Johnson for nothing. They literally have so much cap space. They can do whatever they want with it.
Yeah. CBS Sports' number 1 destination for Roquan is the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh gosh, that would be tough. That would be very, very tough. That would be tough. That would hurt. That would hurt. But at the same time, I mean, like I saw like Kyle Hamilton get burnt by a rookie or something like a week ago. So maybe the rest of it won't work out, and then they'll just have Roquan Smith. The Baltimore Ravens do that though. They're the guys that go out and make those splash plays for the defenders, and then you could go as far back as like Elvis Dumervil. Yeah. I mean that happens sometimes too, but for the most part, that doesn't happen. It's normal things. But I don't know, Roquan I would give up a third and Bush. And I'd feel comfortable with that. I think Devin Bush has an opportunity to still be I'm not going to use the word good, but he's suitable this season.
See, like I think the Steelers follow that line of thought as well, and that's why they wouldn't want to like include him or even trade for a guy like Roquan Smith.
Yeah.
Because you have Miles Jack, and
agree,
if you're confident in Devin Bush, then it's like, okay, well, you can window shop all you want, whatever, but like, why would you actually pull the trigger on a trade for that?
Yeah, no. No. I've pushed the envelope with a lot of guys this offseason. I mean, I was on the Deebo Samuel train so hard.
I was on the Watson train, so I got to sit with this one.
The Watson train, we were both on the Watson train, and that one I feel terrible about. Yeah. But the Deebo Samuel one, I think, was my most far-fetched. And then Roquan, I'll keep it. I'm going to try really hard to keep it realistic and just say, it just doesn't seem to make sense. At this point, Robert Splain's shown enough. Devin Bush has shown enough to say suitable LB2, probably not an LB1. Giant bug just landed 4 inches in front of me. Not sure what's going on up here in Latrobe, but it's there. All right, let's talk more training camp. A couple other guys that have impressed me here. James Pierre, shockingly good in the last week. Shockingly good. Not like mild, like really good against all sorts of teams. He replaced Cam Sutton when Cam Sutton went down with a knee injury. Balled out. Had a great day. Had a great week that followed. Came back today. Had an interception that most wide receivers would not catch. He had that interception. He's leaning out of bounds. All his momentum's going out of bounds. Dives, brings it in, toe taps. I believe against. I don't remember who, but James Pierre had himself a day. He's had himself days. I think he looks really good and could be pushing Justin Lane out of a roster spot, which is exciting for the Steelers and also much less concerning because I think that the depth there was like yikes, and now it feels way better.
Really quick, do we know Cam Sutton's injury is not major. I think Tomlin confirmed that a few days ago.
Yeah, he returned to practice today.
Did he? Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. Or yesterday, but he did reps today. Levi Wallace is back too after missing time with an illness, which is good. Akello's been playing. My worry with Akello is I thought Akello had all the CB1 makings, and I still think he does. The Steelers run way too much zone for Akello Witherspoon. They need to figure out a way to lock him up man-to-man because he's a really good man-to-man corner, like really good. And zone just leaves weaknesses everywhere. Any team running zone will have weaknesses. I think Akello in zone, you just don't have enough pieces. You can't line up Arthur Millette next to Akello Witherspoon and say, okay, protect this whole side of the field. Like, chances are they're not going to get it done.
I think the Steelers, more than anything, might be relying on their pass rush if they're running a lot of like zone defense then.
Oh, 100% they are. 100. That's how they live. But, I mean, if you're not going to get there every time, then play some man. Let Akello play his game. I think he plays well in man. Lock him up, yeah. But I think James Pierre has looked very good. I'm trying to think of other guys who had impressive days. Benny Snell's looked good the last 2 days out here, especially in short yardage situations. Minka came up. That being said, Minka came up and blasted the hole in goal line yesterday. It was a loud one. Speaking of linebackers, TJ Watt is absolutely murdering Chuks Okorafor. And it's hard to get a read on him because, you can't be like Chuks is bad.
Yeah, because it's TJ Watt on the other side of him.
It's TJ Watt. If it was a rookie, you'd be looking at it going, oh man, this guy is done. He's terrible. But he's going up against TJ Watt every single day. So I don't know. I don't know about that one. Alex Highsmith's replacement today was Derek Tushka. That concerns me. I don't know why that was their decision to go there. I personally believe that Delonte Scott has been the best outside linebacker outside of Highsmith, Watt, and Avery. But I don't know if he'll get an opportunity. We'll have to see on that one. Besides that, it's been a wild day here. been a mild day. Gunnar Olszewski and DeMonte KZ might fight by the end of this camp, like full-on fist fight, but that's fun to watch. But, besides that, it's been moderate. It's been a very moderate day.
Another moderate day, and then I'm sure you guys will be back at it tomorrow. Hopefully, without TJ Watt and company throwing snowballs at the buses.
No, snowballs. What are you like?
Bro,
I
it
get
looked like
that
snowballs
Pittsburgh.
in the Instagram
I'm
video.
pouring sweat
What
in
was
a
it?
parking lot right now. And
What
you
were they
think
throwing
they're
at each other?
Not snowballs. They were throwing
What
water
was it?
balloons.
Oh, dude,
Water
they didn't even look like water balloons.
We have water on the East Coast, Donnie. Pittsburgh is
Crazy.
allowed to rain.
Must be nice.
It doesn't just snow every day, okay? It's like 80,000 degrees right now. It rained all day, and I'm still pouring sweat. Couldn't tell you how it happened. But that's what it is. It is what it is. But yeah. That was Friday after the Friday Night Lights got canceled. We sat in a rainstorm. It was a lot. It's been a long weekend.
TJ and somebody else caught a ride with you guys on the bus, right? Because they missed a team bus.
Maybe.
Was it yesterday?
No, I didn't take the team bus. I drove.
Oh, too busy working.
If there's a I had to leave 20 minutes after the bus left, and then I had to write in the car when I got there, and then I had to write more before I got back. I don't have time to be taking buses places. Plus, the bus on Friday terrified me. We sat on this campus. Here, I'll show you guys. We sat all the way up there, top of the hill, on this school bus, and in the middle of a lightning storm. Not a small lightning storm. Like, I thought the world was ending lightning storm. In a bus for an hour, and then they say, all right, practice is canceled, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do a walkthrough instead. Everybody from the media is like, well, we can't do anything with that, so we're going to leave. And they're like, all right, sounds good. Get off the bus. Drop this off at the top of the hill, 20-minute walk down here in a lightning storm. Nearly died, and I made that decision that day that I will not step foot on a bus again while I'm here.
Respect.
But yeah, besides that, training camp's been good.
Good deal, man.
Good deal. I think that's all I got for you.
Yeah, I was about to say, I can't really think of anything else. Another, not less impact of a day, but still not a whole lot of action to report on. But we got the preseason game coming up on Saturday. A lot of content to be pumped out until then.
No doubt. Saturday is very important for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Thursday and Friday are going to be fun episodes because we finally have things to really, like we can prepare for the game now, but by Thursday and Friday, we'll have lineups. You know what I mean? We'll have situational ball to talk about. There'll just be so many things to look forward to for that preseason game that I'm very excited for it. Plus, we have a jersey giveaway, but we'll announce it on Thursday.
We will announce it on Thursday, indeed. But until then, every piece of news announced inside and more for the Pittsburgh Steelers you can find right here at All Steelers Talk. Go to allsteelers.com for everything written. Subscribe to us on YouTube and use the phenomenal Manscaped promo code Steelers20, 20% off, plus free shipping. Taking in for Noah Schrackbein, excuse me. Wow. I am Donnie Druin, and we will catch you guys on Thursday.